So with Age of Ultron issue number 10, we get the conclusion to this event, but what we also get is the results of what happened with Wolverine tampering with time, of what happened when Wolverine had effectively broken time. And as we start this story, we see that a package is delivered to Hank Pym around the time that Ultron attempts to take over the world, about some months before the forces of the Avengers successfully, or I guess encounter Ultron when he's reawakened. And for the most part, he doesn't know who delivered this package, although it's revealed to us to be Susan Storm. But when he opens it up, it's simply something or a device of some kind that plays videos that simply says play me on it. And when he plays it, it's a video of himself from the past. And what he tells his future self is that there's a reason why he doesn't remember making this video, that he had been made to forget. Now we know that the reason why he had forgotten this, making this video or the events around it was because Ultron had modified his memories when Hank Pym first created Ultron. And of course, this was something that was explained to us way back in the Avengers comics when the Vision had first appeared. Marvel had simply just used this as an explanation to why it is that Hank Pym doesn't remember making this video. But what his past self says is that of all the things that they had screwed up, of all the things, all the mistakes that they had ever made, that creating Ultron was the worst one. That because of this, Ultron is going to enact a set of actions, a set of circumstances that is going to lead to almost the end of the world as far as they know. And so what he says is that Hank Pym is going to have to do something that he's getting ready to tell him, that he's going to have to start a project that is going to effectively allow him to defeat Ultron. At this point, we jump back to the point in which Ultron first reawakens, when he first arrives. And of course, the Avengers are doing what they can to combat Ultron, to try to bring an end to Ultron. But again, because of the power that Ultron possesses, because of the sheer strength that he has and his adamantium physique or his adamantium body, he's able to easily take on the Avengers and able to easily overpower almost all of them. But in addition to this, Ultron realizes that something's going on here, that something's taking place. Now, initially, the idea is that he thinks that perhaps it may be something tied into Tony Stark, but he also believes that Hank Pym has something to do with this. And as they're fighting, the question's being asked, is Hank Pym doing it? Is Hank Pym working on whatever it is he's working on? And Hank Pym says yes. Hank Pym says that he's still loading something. Now, we're presuming that this is the virus that Hank Pym had created, although we don't know if that's an absolute fact. But again, Hank Pym says that Ultron is for the most part fighting this, that he's going to figure out what's going on, and when he does, he's going to shut it down. And so he says that the Avengers have to do something. They have to find some way to stall him. And so as the Avengers are fighting Ultron, Ultron is learning what's taking place. Of course, we see that Abigail Brand with Sword is calling in reinforcements, but for the most part, again, Ultron is figuring out what's taking place. He realizes that Hank Pym is involved in this somehow, that Hank Pym is doing something to alter his coding, to alter his programming. And Ultron deduces that what Hank Pym is trying to do is to shut him down, to deprogram him by reprogramming him. And this is what Ultron says. Ultron says that for the most part, this isn't going to work, that he is effectively closing every back door that Hank Pym opens, that he is correcting Hank Pym's code as it's being uploaded to Ultron. And so again, Ultron gets mad about this. Ultron feels insulted by the fact that Hank Pym would try something as basic as more or less creating a Trojan backdoor in Ultron's programming. And so what Ultron says here is that for the most part, he believes that it's time for humanity's existence to come to an end, that humanity doesn't serve a purpose, that the Avengers serve no purpose, and that he's going to effectively shut everybody down, he's going to kill them all, and he is presumably going to take over the world. But at this point, what we see is that whatever it is that Hank Pym had done appears to have been successful when Ultron begins to spaz a little bit, and then all of a sudden completely shuts down. And so what we get is this explanation from Hank Pym. Hank Pym says that what he had done, what he created in Ultron, was more or less of a ruse. It was a trick. He had effectively tried to create a backdoor in Ultron's programming, and Ultron, sensing this backdoor, attempted to shut it down. But when he did, it activated a subroutine that had already been created by Hank Pym when he first created Ultron. And when the subroutine was activated, it created a self-replicating virus that shut Ultron down. But by the time that Ultron had realized what this virus was, it was too late, and he was seconds away from shutting down entirely. And so for the most part, again, the question that's asked here by Iron Man, by Tony Stark, is how was it that Hank Pym knew this? How he knew that something like that needed to be done? How he knew that something like that needed to be done at this particular moment in time? But Hank Pym, for the most part, doesn't answer him. From here, we switch back to Susan Storm as she is traveling with Wolverine back to the Baxter building. And Wolverine tells her to enjoy her life, to enjoy spending time with her family, to make sure her family loves her. And as, of course, the two begin to part ways, there's some kind of a massive shake within the city of New York. And of course, we see multiple variations of Wolverine. In fact, almost every major alternate reality of Wolverine appearing. Of course, we see Old Man Logan among others. We also see the same thing with Iron Man. And for the most part, we don't really know what's taking place here. We don't know what's going on here. All we really know is that perhaps something's going on that's caused a backlash, maybe a kind of a blowback as a result of Wolverine manipulating reality. At this point, we jump to Beast, to Hank McCoy, along with Tony Stark and I believe Reed Richards. I'm sorry, Hank Pym. And the question that's being asked here is what's happened? What's going on? And so what Tony Stark more or less guesses is that time's been broken, that the space-time continuum's been broken by Wolverine. And for the most part, Hank Pym capitalizes on this. Hank Pym says that his guess is that because Wolverine had continually jumped back and forward in time, because he had repeatedly abused time, that he had more or less, I guess, torn the space-time continuum. And that, again, no one really knows what's going to take place. No one knows what kind of other realities may be affected. And at this point, we switch to the Ultimate Universe with Miles Morales as Spider-Man. And as he's figuring out his powers, as he's learning and beginning to undertake the role of Spider-Man, again, there's some kind of massive flash in the sky. And when he looks up, he sees the silhouette of Galactus. But what we also see, and quite possibly more important than this, is the arrival of Angela into the Marvel Universe. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. And let me know what you guys thought about this Age of Ultron series, if it was something that you guys really enjoyed, and if you did, we'll definitely try to do more like it. With that being said, I will catch you guys later. Peace.